I had a full-grown mountain lion, and we were using it in wrestling. I love animals more than people. I always tell people that. It was fun as a puppy, and it also helped build our relationship.
This is Jasmine, the 11-year-old border collie, and this is her dad, a pro wrestler who's been in the ring with Andre the Giant, Eminem music videos, Billie Eilish's music video, Cardi B's album cover, and most notably, the one who let Adam Sandler continue the song Grow Old With You at the end of Wedding Singer. We meet Al Burke on Industry Pets. So tell me about Jasmine, and what kind of breed of dog is she?
Well, Jasmine, she's a border collie. She's a rescue that I found. She was actually the runt of the litter. I've got no problem with that. And I went out. It drove over an hour to pick her up. Oh, I've had her for, I believe, 11 years now.
How has adding Jasmine to your life affected you? That's a big decision to bring into an actor and pro wrestler's life.
It was, but it was more towards the end of my career and more in the acting part. Yes, I did go to Canada for about a year, travel back and forth for that. But, I've learned to work around many things. Jasmine does not do well at the veterinarian who does, boarding for her dog. So I really figure out other methods to make her happy and make her life good. I'll make sure somebody has to stay or she goes with me.
So speaking of going with you, you've actually booked Jasmine. How was it working with your own dog on a professional shoot?
It's a little stressful because you have to make sure the dog is on point. Nobody likes to be waiting around, wasting money, having 50 people standing there making big bucks waiting for the dog to decide, oh, I'm going to work now. Food is a great motivator, and she loves carrots. So I had carrots chopped up, and that was her treat the whole time, and she did a great job.
So it sounds like her favorite treat is carrots. What other treats does she like?
Well, she loves everything. I mean, she's a chow hound. She likes, all sorts of treats, and, we do vary it up, and she gets a few here, a few there, and yeah, she enjoys life.
Which human food would you say is Jasmine's best to sneakily acquire?
Jasmine has been a very good dog. She's never, I can leave my plate on like the ottoman in the living room and she will never go near it. She never has.
Wow.
She's extremely well trained. I don't give her hardly anything for people food. I mean, every once in a while we'll drop a little piece of cheese for her. One of her favorites, if she hears me cracking hard-boiled eggs, she will be right next to me, and I usually give her at least 1 or 2 yolks out of that. And again, she gets liver snaps and, milk bone biscuits and this and that, and yeah, she's not hurting for food ever, but she's always wanting more.
What are some of the quirky things that Jasmine does that you feel like this is her personality?
One of the things that hardly any dog can do is she puts away her own toys.
What? No way.
But I would tell her what toy to pick up and put into the toy box. And if she did the wrong toy, I go, no, red ball, orange ball, this, that. One thing I found out about border collies is they have supposedly the largest vocabulary of any dog breed out there.
Wow.
We don't do it much anymore because I know she gets a little nervous when she doesn't get the right toy. I'm not pressuring her to do that. I mean, it was fun as a puppy, and it also helped build our relationship. We also do a lot of hand signals along with voice signals.
Wow.
So, I mean, the easy one, stop, but I'm like, this way, that way, But now, it's like the putting away the toys. She doesn't need to do it anymore. She's kind of at the end of her career because I know she's getting older. She's been, a dream dog. She's really been good. I've had quite a few dogs in my life, but this one is just so well-mannered.
Wow, such a well-trained dog. That's amazing.
Jasmine used to train with me for wrestling. There were mornings that we would do anywhere from 12 to 15 miles. I don't train that hard anymore, and she doesn't need to either.
Do you take her to the set with you?
No, I do not. Anytime you're working with an animal, no matter if it's just a domestic dog or a cat, they cannot have distractions, and something like that would be a distraction. It has to be the handler and the animal, and if I'm moving in to be the handler, then the owner handler has to step away and let me get the bond with that animal. It's a lot of trust by the animal to trust somebody that's new. Working with any animal, especially wild animals, it takes a lot of trust of them not to want to kill us or hurt us or think we're going to hurt them.
Are there any animals that you were scared to work with?
No, I go into every animal just trying to build the confidence. Just knowing how to talk to animals and, let them experience you and get used to you is the biggest key to anybody.
You've even worked with snakes before, too. You worked with a famous snake.
Yeah, it was Britney Spears, the albino snake. We were on a music video, and they had hired the snake to come in. So I love animals more than people. I always tell people that. I go, animals are awesome because once they trust you, then you know you're in their heart, and they know that they can trust you.
What was your wildest experience working with an animal on set?
I mean, I had a brown bear up in Alaska, and it took her about a half hour before she would even acknowledge me other than growling and snarling and wanting to rip my head off. About the half hour point, she was over licking my finger. Probably the wildest was I had a full-grown mountain lion, and we were using it in wrestling, and the owner was in the ring wrestling, and I was just the handler outside. And the first slam, she got scared, jumped up in my arms, fully in my arms, and she's 190, 200-pound cat, and her claws went through my leather vest and scraped my stomach. Didn't break the skin, but she was scared. But I knew that, so I calmed her down, and then she was fine. But that was probably the most intense moment working with an animal, but it was more about the animal being scared and me getting her through that.
Animal wrangling, is that something that came natural to you?
Because either you have it or you don't. I've had animals that would not respond to me. Most animals, as long as they trust you, you're okay. If they don't trust you, you never turn your back on them. I had a jaguar once that nobody trusted it, not even the owner.
What are some of your favorite adventures with Jasmine throughout the years?
I end up taking her a lot of places, but living in LA, we don't get snow here, even though you heard about it on the news. We had all this snow. It was up in the mountains. It wasn't. But I would take her up there just to go play. And I would pack a lunch. I would sit there and let her wander around and sniff all the crazy wildlife up there and play. And when I would pack a snowball, then right away she knew it's time to play, and I'd throw it, but she would bite it as it came to her, So that was part of her fun. But I've taken her a lot of different places, and we did so much hiking when I was, training for wrestling and trying to stay in shape that us going off on a hike in the woods is no big deal. And I think she likes it. I give her a lot more time. When we were training, we didn't have the time to stop and sniff. When I take her to the mountains to go play, it's all her.
If your pet could have a favorite song, what would it be?
Probably Billie Eilish. No, I'm just throwing her out there because I love that song. Probably Wild Crazy Woman or whatever it's called.
What advice would you give someone who's thinking of becoming a first-time dog owner?
Make sure that you have the time for the pet. Dog, cat, bird, I don't care what it is. Dogs, they need a routine for one, and not a bad routine. It's like, I'm going to always feed you at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Make your pet your first priority, and even, I hate to say it, but over dating, houses, the pet has to come first because they don't understand anything. But when you're doing fun things with them, they will be a fun pet. If you stop doing it, they'll start acting up, and you never know what will happen then.
Well, I just think it's so wonderful that you really are an animal person. And why don't you tell all the people watching, tell them what you got going on and where they can get a hold of you at?
The best place is probably on Instagram, Al Burke, ALBURKE 4782, I believe it is. I'm actually holding a baby tiger in my profile picture. That's the only place where, I'm accepting people. My Instagram is more for fans. In fact, Billie Eilish, I think I got over 10,000 fans just from her. Cardi B, I think I got 7,000 or 8,000 from her when I did her album cover. Well, I started it just for the animals, me and the animals I work with. Then I just started putting on all the different things I do and a lot of on-set pictures, and the fans love it.
Thanks for taking the time to talk with us on Industry Pets.
Thank you for having me, and maybe we'll do it again.